Powered by Riverside FM.
For the past couple of videos, we've been comparing units of the Minnesota Vikings 2024 teams to the Minnesota Vikings 2025 team. And the reason why we're doing that is because we keep hearing this narrative that the Minnesota Vikings aren't going to be very good next year. And so I'm trying to figure out where this is all coming from, UP Nation. So rather than get upset about it and start debating and screaming and yelling, what I'm doing is going step by step and looking at each unit of the Minnesota Vikings and seeing where we went wrong. Where didn't we upgrade? Because personally, I don't see any weaknesses, but I'm willing to go through the steps with you guys. I'm willing to go through the steps for the national media to try to figure out where we deficient compared to last year's 14-4 team. Now, the first video we put out, we looked at the quarterback room, and we looked at the quarterback room as a whole. We just didn't look at Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy, which I think is fair. I've come out and said that if you wanted to look at those two, Sam Darnold had a pretty good season last year. Is my expectations for J.J. McCarthy to have a better season than what Sam Darnold had last year? I don't know. The verdict is still out. He's a rookie quarterback. Sam Darnold came in with some experience under his belt and again had a pretty good season. But I do expect J.J. McCarthy to be a baller. He is going to be a baller for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, whether that turns into a replica of what Sam Darnold did stat-wise, I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. But then we looked at the running back room. And I think it's easy to say that the running back room is an upgrade for the Minnesota Vikings. Adding Jordan Mason, bringing back Aaron Jones, re-signing Aaron Jones, compared to what they had last year. I think that's safe to say. Then we took to task the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver room. There's no question that the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver room, which is already good, has gotten better with Tay Felton coming in from Maryland, so on and so forth. Rondale Moore from the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, the room has gotten a lot better, UP Nation. Now, we're going to dive into the trenches. We're going to go with the offensive line. And I can tell you right now, I think it's safe to assume that the offensive line has gotten a lot better, UP Nation. This was the part of our team that we have been begging, that we have been crying for Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and KOC to fix. And I think that they have fixed that, UP Nation. But let's dive into it. Maybe somebody thinks differently. Maybe there's another perspective out there. That's the beauty about talking and debating sports. Let's look at the 2024 offensive line of the Minnesota Vikings. I think we have to start with the two bookends that are returning, Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill. They will be back. That's a comparison that we can put up there from the 2024 team, 2025 team. Christian Darrisaw, elite when healthy. He missed some time with that ACL injury that he suffered during the Los Angeles Rams game last year. And then you have Brian O'Neill, strong. He missed some time with injury as well. The two Minnesota Vikings bookends. Now we look at their interior. Dalton Risner, who's been with us for the last 2 years. He was a late addition. He was steady, but Risner, in my opinion, has always been a short-term patchwork fix for the Minnesota Vikings. Very serviceable, but not the answer long-term for the Minnesota Vikings. That's how come they always struggled in terms of bringing Dalton Risner back. Then you talk about the center spot with Garrett Bradbury. You know, it's obvious there were some times where defensive tackles would lift Bradbury off his feet during competition and just push him back. So he struggled against interior pressure. And that was very, very glaring in games. Sometimes so much that KOC came into press conferences really angry. Then you look at Ed Ingram, who was a high draft pick for the Minnesota Vikings, just never panned out, flashed potential at times, but really, really inconsistent in the passing games in terms of pass protection and wasn't that great of a run blocker, you know. And so we had to get Ed Ingram out of here. You know, we had solid tackle play. The interior of our offensive line, I think it's safe to say, was the weak spot. And it just let the whole offensive line down. The depth was thin. The line collapsed when starters got hurt. You could also talk about when Christian Darrisaw went out, Cam Robinson came in, which was a great pickup by Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. But again, he was patchwork. Again, he was short term. I don't think anybody ever expected Cam Robinson to stick around. I know there are some rumors that he may move to left guard, but that wasn't very viable. Now, let's talk about the 2025 Minnesota Vikings offensive line. In my opinion, you could just call them the rebuild. We can start with the bookends that we just talked about, Christian Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill. You know, both when fully healthy are elite tackles in this league. They have proven that. The Minnesota Vikings, with their first-round pick, bring in Donovan Jackson, first-round pick from Ohio State, expected day one starter at the left guard spot, a big behemoth, a nasty offensive lineman who is going to get after it at the left guard spot. Has some versatility. Christian Darrisaw is out. Who knows what may happen with that? But right now he's at left guard. He is expected to be the day one starter. Ryan Kelly at center. Veteran center from the Colts, adds leadership and he adds consistency for the Minnesota Vikings. A quarterback on the offensive line. Can read alignments of the defense. Nasty center, big, bulky, solidifies that rush up the middle, is not going to get there, especially with our shiny new toy, J.J. McCarthy. Ryan Kelly makes us better instantly on the offensive line. Again, we're just building this thing for 2025 and doing some comparison UP Nation. At right guard, we bring in Will Fries, also from Indy. Chemistry with Kelly, and is a big physical presence at right guard. So now you have your bookends at right and left guard, and you solidified with the veteran center up the middle in Ryan Kelly. I think it's safe to say that we've upgraded the interior. More experience, more cohesion, better trenches for the 2025 season. Then you talk about the depth of the offensive line for 2025. Blake Brandell, versatile backup, across the line, can play a number of different spots. Walter Rouse, developing as a rookie tackle for last year, bringing in Justin Schooley, veteran depth, starter experience. Unlike the 2024 team, UP Nation, there's an actual competition for depth for the Minnesota Vikings and their offensive line. How does this impact J.J. McCarthy? Let me tell you how this impacts J.J. McCarthy, because this unit's stability is going to be there. Barring some horrific injury, these guys really don't have a whole lot of history. Yes, they've suffered some dings, but I'm talking about their full body of work of just being hurt all the time. That rebuilt interior line is going to result in just cleaner pockets for J.J. McCarthy, giving him time to throw. UP Nation. Better decision-making windows for J.J. McCarthy. The key is going to be, what is going to be Donovan Jackson's learning curve? What is going to be Fry's adjusting to NFC defenses? That's a thing. Overall, I just think the movement and the additions to the Minnesota Vikings offensive line gives J.J. McCarthy a better chance to succeed. Is this line playoff ready, UP Nation? I'm asking you because I think it is. Or is it just all off-season hype? You know how, certain segments of a certain fan base that get all hyped up no matter what you do? See, I don't think this is all hype. I think this thing is going to solidify the Minnesota Vikings offense better than ever. And we haven't even mentioned the running game in this segment, how this is going to enhance the running game. Put your thoughts in the comments. Is this an upgrade for the Minnesota Vikings? Is it kind of the same, or is it a downgrade for the Minnesota Vikings? Me personally, my vote's going to be upgrade. And again, I'm not asking this to be sarcastic. I'm just trying to walk through where these takes are coming from, that the Minnesota Vikings are going to be way worse than the 2024 team that went 14-4. I just don't see it, so I just got to walk through it. Put your thoughts in the comments. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Helps my station out dearly. It only takes a second to just hit that like and subscribe button. This has been Unconventional Playbook. We will make sure to see you when we see you. Skol.